jamming and rolling into finals day here at the European Ultimate Championship Finals 2024. Myself, Hannah Pendlebury, on the call alongside Liam Grant as we secure our medals in the bronze division. Here in front of us, mixed action between Sesquidistus and Tartu Turbulence. It's France versus Estonia in Belgium by the sea. And it's going to be Tartu starting out on offense with a 3-3 record, but still grinding their way through the bracket to make it. But will it be a miss at the medal? They have a relatively short O-line, so they're going to be taking their time and making sure they don't have to play too much defense. Starting out conservatism, but of course Jakob Tam connecting with Helen Terra is something we're going to see a whole heap of a lot. Liam, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a battle for Tartu, how they can keep their stars out there and just, minimize the amount of points they can play while still staying in contention. Being forced backhand here, which I think is something they've decided based on Tam's great flick hooks, but they're able to score that one on a clean hold.
Yeah, Christian Luritz just opening things up. All smiles. Certainly they've got a mix and blend of experience, have this Tartu Turbulence team. Some folks that pretty much are going to get every other pass because they are those big stars, and a couple of newer players joining the fold. Of course, Estonia not the largest ultimate playing nation.
Yeah, and it is supreme ultimate conditions right now. Such a contrast to the start of this tournament where it was like an Armageddon end of world movie. It is sunny, it's calm, it's still just a small bit of dew on the grass. But yeah, you see Christian Lortz there, definitely one of the most experienced players on this team. I remember playing against him 10 years ago with Sexy Legs, and he's one of the best players out of Estonia then, and has played a lot of Ultimate KFK. But back with the Estonians now to do some damage in this mixed division, and I think a lot of people actually, I think they came into this ranked 5th, maybe Tartu. They weren't ranked in the top 4, but I think a lot of people expect them to, compete for a semi-final spot and have found themselves in the bronze medal game. I think their best 7 is as good as anyone in this division, but after that it becomes a challenge.
Well, can they avoid having to show too much in terms of depth? Certainly will have a difficult task. Sesquidistus narrowly avoiding their berth into the final. They were stopped, of course, by last year's defending champions, Deep Space, who we'll see later on today. Gaël Ancelin, after a semi-successful campaign with the French mixed team back in Australia. Bronze that time. Can it be a second for the big man? Lovely high releases. Again, abusing the fact that there is absolutely zero wind this morning, so any throw is on more or less. Barentin shoots through, but just about holding on for Petitot. Now back with Ancelin. Barentin finding herself sandwiched upfield, but back underneath comes Gavillet. Nice high reaching grab for Maton. Sesquidistus working it through their female matching players as we get towards the end zone. But now Monet. A little bit of dancing from the front of the stack for Petitot, and it opens up an easy post through the letterbox to Anthony Charnet.
The French answer back with a clean hold of their own. It's not something we've seen throughout the week, is lots of clean holds, but expected in this game. Everyone's calm on this Sunday morning, just like the weather. And yeah, we've seen a lot of French national teams picking up medals this year in the last 12 months, and this club side are, favoured to do the same. I think in this match, you'd have to say they're the favourites coming into this, but it's about showing up on the day. Good end zone offense, just see driving up the line, drawing the force across, and hitting the easy break side shot. And both teams looking very comfortable out there at the moment, and it's at this level it's very easy to play offense in these conditions. You're expecting a low turnover game, which will probably suit Tartu. I think they've had to battle through a lot of stuff yesterday, and I think they were tired in that semi-final yesterday. I think they had to play pre-quarter against Pelt. They had a competitive quarter against Mosquitoes, and there was just too much to ask, I think, for them for the short roster. But I've had a good night's rest. talking to Jakob Town before the game. He said he's hurting a lot, his foot. He sat out Friday with injury. Saturday he said he's pumped up in painkillers, but he says today he's feeling the effects of that.
Well, they're going to go for isolation downfield for Rabat. As Terra just nibbles away at the yards with Lawrence. And just in terms of the seeding initial position for Tartu, Liam, you said 5th. It was actually as deep as 7th they started this tournament, just by virtue of their rankings earlier. We saw them at the Elite Invite. Tam with that bandaged hand. So a player used to grinding through injury for sure. But this is solid containment. Tedet through to Lawrence, who takes the disc for a little bit of a walk out of bounds and then around. And very easy travel call to identify and make for Michon. Although Lawrence saying that the only reason he actually ended up travelling was because he was pushed out.
I think it was much of muchness there. I think maybe travelled 1 yard on the sideline. Love to see this play continue there. I understand Lawrence's approach of, hey, maybe you kind of forced me out a little bit, I had to readjust.
Tam, the very loose mark from Kofi. Michon doing a great job of shutting down Lawrence initially, but then has a little snooze after the upline. Rabat. Now Terra threatening that back cone, but pick right in front of the disc.
And Sesquidistus doing a good job of slowing Tartu down. I think that's the tactic of theirs. They're not really allowing deep shots, trying to make them work hard for it.
Terra igniting. Relatively easy grab. Oh, that's a lovely lead pass. A little bit of a shimmy shake to throw off John Kofi, and Jakob Tam clutches the second goal for Tartu.
Exquisite offense from the Estonians. No turnover so far in this game. Who's going to crack first? And see the tactic here. At the start of that point, Sesquidistus is kind of sagging off the handler marks a bit, forcing backhand. I think they've done their homework. We've already streamed, I think, Tartu twice. So plenty of tape to watch back. I think they've recognized their flick hooks are very good. So trying to force them backhand, force them under. And, you know, something that Coach David Mori does do is time how long you can keep the O-line out there. And with a short roster, okay, you maybe not get a break in the first few points, but try and tire out that O-line. Try and tire out those players so they can't cross over. So that maybe later on in the game they make a mistake. So you just don't want to let Tartu score early. I think that's what the tactic is from Sesqui. So they've been slowing them down, but not quite stopping them yet. Lead has been incredible this tournament. One of the players that's crossed over quite a bit, playing offense and defense. I think going to be a real star of the future. She's already a star now, but I think there's more to come from that young Estonian player.
Indeed, only 22 years old. Just in the early stages of her ultimate career, really.
See that pull play from Sesqui. They've done twice now where everyone clears out on the far cutter and the horizontal stack just comes across.
Martin with a nice aggressive attack. That one looked a little bit like Lawrence was having a sniff. Arslan receives that under a lot of air, and that is a beautiful follow through de Lori Petitot. Sesqui a little bit more rapid pace on that point.
Like a hot knife through butter. Very efficient offense from Sesquidistus, and I think Tartu be annoyed that they're not really able to slow them down here. And that's the same pull play they've done, I think, just twice in a row now, where you have the horizontal stack, the far cutter is coming straight across laterally. You maybe got to identify that, Tartu, and set something up to stop the pull play. And as I said, at this level in these conditions, very hard to just go out there and get a block, but at least, you know, make them do something different. Take away what they do best and see what answers Sesquidistus have, but being allowed to play their game here and doing it very well.
connections, their set plays. They know what they want to do, but it is indeed just this is the basics, isn't it? You've got to take away that A game and find something for it. Maybe some stack surrounding. Because there was a moment or two of help defense where especially some malmatching players hung out in the near side space. We haven't seen either team really shoot deep yet. A couple of nice leading passes, but nothing too flurrying. So Justine Brou, the lefty handler with a big pull. And you'll still see those flags absolutely statue still. So female matching athletes from Estonia trying to create some turbulence upfield. Vesky with a little bit of hesitation. Had a channel to go, but Helen Terra trying to just lurk around in the near field. Rava.
And Stack just too far away from Tartu at the moment. Really struggling to get their cutters engaged.
Tam going for a spicy inside. Now, Lauritz coming through. And they are indeed going to finally rip it deep and give us a little display of the capabilities of Jakob Tam receiving those. Well weighted, but you don't want to overuse it. Now, Rava looking around for a reset. And throws the hammer, but collection in the end zone, all too simple. Perfect positioning. This nice smooth moving. Farameli now. Ele pops back to Brew. But way static downfield. No movement whatsoever, just having to drive through the handler set. Now there's a little bit of action. Great run down. Can she get there? Oh, so much effort put in, but swing and a miss for Mobogue at that first break opportunity.
Get out of jail free card for Tartu. They turned over with that hammer that wasn't on. They had Terra and Tam free in the end zone at several times during that possession, but no real resetting, had to hammer it away, and looked like it was going to be the first break for Sesqui. And the D-line worked it up very well, and that was a brilliant shot, and just slipped out of her hands. And it's actually sunny and dry now, but I think there actually is still probably a wet disc with that dew on the ground at the moment. And you see the sagging in the lane here from Sesqui at times, trying to slow them down, try and make them swing more than throw downfield.
Well, that didn't have the best tilt on it throw-wise, but Jakob Tam will still eat it for breakfast and quickly sends it to the back cone. Helen Terra and Vedet with some excellent supporting cuts.
Brilliant goal by Terra, and then using Jakob Tam again in the deep space is just fantastic, and it's actually his body position in boxing. Both of those throws that went to him, he didn't really start off with position, but he quickly established his position, uses his body, and then he's obviously good in the air, but actually, you know, a brilliant demonstration how to get position. You see him here, he eventually kind of steps across the Sesquidistus defender and uses his body protected disc, is able to go up quite casually with two hands. That's twice he's done that. He gets such a good read early and gets to the position first, and he's, you know, someone they're going to try and force under. I think that's what they have to do. He's brilliant getting the unders as well, but especially in these conditions, if Tartu are giving him deep, certainly Loritz is going to hit him every time, and yeah, it's just such a weapon for them.
Well, lots for both the club teammates that didn't make it to the fields here in Oostende, and also Jakob Tam's mum, Tina. Gives her a shout out, says he wants to...
Tina Tam.
Tina Tam.
Good name.
Excellent name. But of course, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Jakob Tam, because he's just 24 years old. Despite the perhaps softer look of his blonde hair, but he played with a certain Mooncatcher team back in 2023 at Tom's tourney. And you have to feel that his deep receptions into being in that squad. So maybe years to come, but sticking with the mixed division so far, Petito on a high still just about squeezes it through to Gaia Lancelot, as Sesqui have moved it very swiftly and easily through. That one's a little bit in action though, and it's snaffled up by Laurie Loritz.
And that is the first turnover from the Sesquidistus O-line.
So this would be a huge opportunity. We saw the first defensive break chance be just dropped on a catch, but that's nearly a Callahan. Very good grind, but a little discussion on the floor.
I could hear that one from here. That was a bit of a collision, and they're having a bit of a slumber party there on the ground, telling some secrets. Let's see if it's true they're there, trying to come to the truth solution on this. It's not often you see this. I think don't know why they've decided to continue this competition while it's lying down.
Why not? I mean, pretty bouncy on the floor. It's nice and soft. So an accepted foul. Lepic will retain possession.
I'm surprised they didn't touch it in on the ground there. A bit of pillow talk.
So back in action, and Tartu haven't really been able to make it out of their own end zone.
And, you know, this is a pure D-line from Tartu, not crossing over any of the studs, so it'd be amazing for them if they convert, but there's always going to be a challenge.
And there comes the mistake. Gavillier snaffling it up. But no one able to communicate well enough, and sneaking away Lanael Matin. Because I have to say, it was a little bit of a late reaction from Arlene Vablas. So they were one FMP defender short in the end zone, and Sesquidistus capitalise upon it.
So the game just trading out so far, and you know, Sesqui have looked very good, but I think it suits actually Tartu trading. If they can get to the latter stages of the game and it's, you know, 12-12, they'll start crossing over players on the D-line. Terry's going to play, Tam's going to play, and that's going to be a much more difficult task for Sesqui to convert their offensive points there. I think for them, they want to break early. That's what happened in the semi-final against the Germans. Tartu, they got broken a couple of times early, and then they can't cross over players late because they're playing a lot of O points, and it's just kind of a team without much depth. You want to try and kill them early. If it gets into the latter stages and, you know, Tam and Tara are still fresh, they're going to cross over a lot. And if, you know, a game to 3 where arguably Tartu have the better top talent. Arguably, I think Kaelon Salon, there's lots of players who'd maybe argue otherwise, but certainly I think they don't have the same depth, Tartu, as Sesqui. So getting to a game to 3 where it's still tied suits them more than it suits Sesqui. I think Sesqui want to try and get a break early here.
Loritz.
See, isolating the two female cutters here, Tara and Rabba.
Yeah, they've been trying to do that quite a few points in a row, but it hasn't worked out. Got different matchups though, and they seem to be sneaking away from those with ease. Now it's Tara. Immediately looks for Tam. Rabba. No one pushing through to the deep space, so Loritz is just going to go for the up line. Tara. A little bit of a swerve on the cut. And then just sits and waits. So one of my favourite things about watching Helen Tara play is how she waits for her moments of opportunity. And the opportunity was taken by Etienne Michon. A valiant bid, but it opens up the window for an easy through pass to Rabba.
And Tartu attacking that inside throw, being forced backhand, I think, for the majority of this game, Tartu Turbulence. And I think they got to use that weapon. I saw Tara shooting one, just kind of space to Tam there. He continues it on. You're being forced backhand. Loving the celebrations there. You've been forced backhand. Hit that inside shot. It's probably easier one to hit than the inside flick. And we've seen Tartu setting up a kind of almost a side stack, isolating the two female cutters, but they keep doing it on the as if they're being forced flick. I don't think they've adjusted to, hey, if you're going to isolate two cutters, I think you want to probably do it on the open side. I think they're expecting teams to force them forehand, but at this stage, they should be expecting Sesqui to force them backhand and be doing it all game. And I think they've been struggling to hit Rabantera on that side stack isolation because they're on the break side. And then you have the lads on the open side just hanging out there, standing as if they're out of the way. But you need to make that adjustment, I think, to the change of force.
Well, we'll have to see if they can hear you from the sideline and if they're going to agree and make that adjustment. I mean, I do think you're exactly right, because you have those players that are able to best their matchups most of the time. So why not put them on the side where the throw is easier?
I'm seeing Helen Terra crossing over now. How often is she going to do that in this game? Did it so much in the semi-final, but you got to feel like they're maybe a little more tired today.
I don't think she knows the meaning of the word tired. Aslan with a big old female matching player poach in the lane. So perhaps a little flair of creativity. Feisty fakes, but just throws that leader to Petitot. Monet popped it back into the paws of Aslan. Certainly other teams have had a game plan for Gaël Aslan to just make him run as much as humanly possible. Don't allow him to just saunter around at the back and have an easy day. Petitot now in the windmill trackies, throws the casual toss pass, and that's a good little link in the chain. But can they break through to the end zone? A little bit of dancing from Gaël Aslan. Petitot grinding through. Some threatenings of that inside channel, but Sesqui's breaks are working out much better when they're in flow. This is great defense from Tartu. Gaël Petitot just resetting and waiting for the opportunity to develop, but that is miscommunication and a missed opportunity. Lenold unable to collect after Monet left it.
And they had two open players there on the break side, and maybe a bit confusion about who's going to collect it. And a gift for Tartu, and they have Terra on the field now. And I think this D-line, if I was them, I'd be setting up a deep cut pretty early, probably to Terra. I think they struggled to work it the whole up the field. So here it goes, and Terra had separation, kind of on the narrow side, but that throw was just not good enough.
Yeah, you could see it was a frustrated choice. A little bit too dialed in, therefore the mark had every knowledge of adjustment. You just have to wait until the call from the sideline that Terra is open downfield, and you just put on the biggest, flattest force you possibly can. Nice, easy move through for Antoine. Now Maël Barentin lasers that. Monet. Aslan. Nice loft of the backhand.
Super quiet, so I just turned you up. Maybe just like if you haven't been able to hear us, you'd be there, but like 10%.
Barentin shoots, big looping backhand. Not quite over the tape yet. Petitot now surveying.
That's from both of you, is it?
Barentin now.
You can hear yourself on a delay. Is it really bad? Is that a new change? That just happened? Yes.
So Monet with the goal, and that's another hold. This continues to trade, Liam.
Yeah, just trading it out now, and you can see Tartu's attempts on defensive breaks. We're just looking to send it to Terra there. I don't think that's a bad option. Just didn't execute that flick hook.
But an opportunity here squandered by Tartu. Get another look at that great redemption from Maël Barentin. But Seski being pushed to find finesse. And neither team making headway.
Again, I think this suits Tartu to be trading it out at this stage of the game. As you see, Justine Brew pulling now for Sesquidistus. This is prescribed gender pulling, which is now the norm here in Europe.
Lauritz. Tartu just taking their time, keeping things simple and easy. They just look so relaxed, yet still getting away from very elite level defenders. Rubber now. Lauritz just igniting when he needs to.
And there's a foul call downfield, and the Sesquidistus defender was really right up on top of Tam, like bodying him. Tam goes to move, ends up his shoulder hitting his chin as you see them on the ground there. But, you know, the object of the game is to avoid contact. And if you're already touching somebody before you start moving, it's very hard for either of you to move without initiating contact. So Etienne Michon. You know, I think probably both of them could do better to avoid contact there, but setting up more in a more natural position now.
We have seen Michon leave his feet a number of times so far this game, taking on that big matchup. Proving that you don't have to be in your 20s to match up against the likes of Tam, because he's almost into his 4th decade of existence, is Michon. Lauritz. Lots of big backhand fakes, but squeaks it through to Rubber instead. Oh, love that break. Tam. Just puts that one out on a platter. And we've seen a change in the force to forehand now, but actually Tartu are breaking with the backhands much more easily. Which is why you see that big jump off on the force for Mogbourget. Oh, what a leading pass. The rapid pace with which any connection happens between Jakob Tam and Helen Terra is just so difficult to interrupt.
Two players at the top of their game combining again. And still no break so far in this hotly contested matchup. Terra still sporting the backwards baseball cap, something she's famed for doing.
Is that a Montreal Royals cap? It's definitely got a frayed edge.
Is that from wind resistance friction? She's running so fast it slowly, or it's like a spoiler of the car, it helps her run faster, it kind of stops her from taking off.
Keeps her glued to the ground.
That's it, better traction. She's having a wee chat with Ravi Vasudevan on the sideline here.
Okay,
Two
look at the decal.
Euro Trash stars. It is a Montreal Royale hat.
It feels like they've not been in existence long enough for it to be that frayed, but just shows to show the amount of reps that Terra gets with that particular hat. Nice fielding of the pull, almost at the own brick mark. Petito pops it back to Aslan. Now, Charnay through. Patient offense. Well, that dish nearly spills away from Arslan, but that's a beautiful backhand break. Soars through to Holoi Petito. Now, Alexandre Monet. Consolant puts it out to the back corner, but Clara Lee underneath it, providing sufficient pressure. We're seeing more opportunities for Tartu's D-line, but this one just a straight 7. No extra crossover, folks, from the O-line. Can they make the most of it? It's a blade to start us off, but it's a miss again. We saw that opportunity for Sesquidistus go the full stretch. Tartu Turbulence really struggling with their offense when they get the opportunities for the break, and that was a beautiful around throw to completely unguarded Charnay. Petito not going to flirt with anything fancy, just sails it over to Aslan. This time it is going to work out though, a nice strong reception, and that's barred down for the goal.
And again, Tartu get a chance for a break, but honestly, without crossing players over, this D-line really doesn't look like scoring. They really struggle to string a pass or two together. I think they failed to connect on their first pass twice now. The Tartu Turbulence D-line. Onslaught orchestrating the offense yet again. Expecting to see him in China on the France World Games team. You gotta imagine he's a lock. Getting into the latter stages of his career, but just such a rock, such an anchor for this French club team. Interested to see any other locks you think for that French World Games team?
I mean, not in this division, but the Bourneau sisters are causing a lot.
Any divisions, I'd love to hear if you think there's any locks.
Well, they're causing a lot of grief in the women's division, of course. Moon Cup and Krut will be featuring later on today in the women's final, coming from the 6th and 7th seed. But other male athletes, Sasha Płatzakolski, you've not seen take the field for Sesquidistus this morning. He's certainly someone who's been making moves as well. Although your comment about Arslan being in the latter stages of his career at 33, I'm sure there's a particularly famous...
He's only 33, he's the same age as me. I thought he was way older.
I was going to say, and also I think Nas would have something to say about that, having gotten a back-to-back world championships in his... maybe what would normally be sunset years for anyone else, but just proving that the commitment to athleticism and training and focus can be quite the thing.
A forced middle now, which actually seems to be frustrating Tartu a bit. I think that's a great way to stop the hooking game.
So it is 5-5 as Tartu have the disc in their hands. They did start this game on offense, so we are still trading, but trading up for Tartu Turbulence. We'll get that corrected for you momentarily. Loritz through to Terra. Rabbit on a relatively high stall, just dishes it through. But a bit of a cluster on the far sideline. Some folks just staying a little bit out of the way, but neutralising an entire pocket of the pitch when they do. Loritz, just about scoops that one from behind him. And lashes it through to Terra. High release, Jakob Tam underneath it, and there is no opportunity for Charnay to come through and steal the day. That will be 6-5, Tartu over Sesqui.
Sesqui trying a number of different looks to stop this Tartu O-line. Still haven't managed to do it. I think that force middle worked well for quite some time. Quite often the Tartu cutters were a bit frustrated down the field, clogging each other, but they've always found a way to reset the disc and keep possession. It ends up being a clean hold, but I think that's something we might see them bust out again, that force middle. They transitioned into a sideline forcing forehand outside the end zone, but Tam just unstoppable at the moment. And as I said, this suits Tartu. Sesqui need to get breaks early, because I'll be very confident when Tartu stack a D-line later on in the game that they'll be able to get a break. Or certainly when they get a break opportunity, they'll be a lot more efficient.
Well, a mammoth perfect record so far for Tartu. They are 5 for 6 perfect conversions on their offense. Just that one defensive break opportunity for Seski so far, and it very nearly came off. Just that slippery disc like an eel. That dewy start to the morning, causing some miscues. I'll start with it. Laser inside forehand. Again, Petitot, the connection. Now Barentin. Flurry of fakes from the tall athlete, but just sails it through. But nothing on secondary follow-up, and that's going to be a very challenging disc to churn down. And indeed, Petitot cannot make the magic happen.
Twice in a row now, Tartu have had break opportunities, picking it up at the front of their own end zone and turned over first pass. Need to come up with some kind of tactic here to score. I actually like the idea of hooking it straight away to whoever they think the best receiver is, but they've struggled to actually execute that throw. Let's see what they can do. Leet in the handler space. She's probably their star on this D-line. Maybe try and use her as much as they can.
And the elite move of the in-play timeout. They're going to go and have a chat and decide what they want to do to try and convert this defensive break chance, because at the moment they are the ones having a better time defensively. Just need to connect the dots. But as the players on the field take a break, we will hear in the booth too. Don't go anywhere as this first half in the bronze medal match for the mixed division continues. Sesquidistus currently trading down against Tartu Turbulence, and Leet's just taken a timeout to have a chat about how we are going to finally score one of these break chances, because there have been so many, Liam.
Yeah, and there's the obvious thing to do here that would guarantee him a break, and that is fake an injury and get some of your O-line players out there. That's the veteran move right now. Just somehow do some weird layout where you could, like, pretty plausibly call an injury, do something, pull up, hamstring, you've had a long weekend, you know what I mean? And then suddenly just walk Jakob Tam or Helen Terra out there.
Liam Grant,
I've seen it happen before, okay? That'd be unspirited and...
Yeah, advocating cheating to my right. But I think, to be fair, Liam, you have to say, you're in the bronze medal match. And if you're Tartu Turbulence, that's an excellent improvement in seed. They started off 7th in the standings after their ranking into this part of the season. And I think this is a huge opportunity to actually develop your D-line, right? You're playing against very, very high-level defenders, Seski's O-line, some of their best sevens. So I think this is an opportunity to say, hey, okay, well, let's keep working, let's keep grinding. Because, as you've already said, they just have to keep punching in those O points. They don't need to start absolutely blazing through their top level. And this is a little bit of extra oxygen starting to develop. They have Leet poached off completely. If you will see it, no, that's a beautiful shot instead over the top, connecting with Ilves. So Norman, that's much better defense of Clara Leet. Great footwork. And again, Ilves, the chosen target. Big old poach off in the backfield, but doesn't like the look of it. Sends it through. Nice grab for Varblas. Thrown under duress, but that's another bit of open sky, and it will work for the defensive break. There is a pick to potentially bring it back, but another shot to Timo Ilves.
That one looked like it was in the back of the net, but it's being called back, I think, for a pick. See Onslan standing beside Leet. I'm guessing that's where it possibly took place. I guess discussing whether it affected the play. And this would be massive. Massive for Tartu to get a break with their, traditional D-line. You can see, I can see where the contact happens. It looks like Onslan's quite far away. I would love to call him over and look at the monitor and see what he decides.
Yeah.
This is a massive moment in the game as well.
It is an interesting one because Lee does definitely have kind of a blocking stance towards him, but I'm with you, Liam. I think maybe he got a little bit caught up in the pick because of the fact that he'd looked over his shoulder and wasn't paying the fullest of attention to Timo Ilves. But it will go back, and instead they grind up line. Lee going for the reset. Oh, that's a squirrely pass. Great hands though for Ilves to bring it down. Lee completely poached off. Is she going to go for something spicy? Ilves again really finding wonderful spaces on the break side and not being entirely respected for it, but that is a block and a half, just throwing the truss ball and getting denied, but there's a foul call.
I think that was just a good clean poach by Sesquidistus in the lane. I don't think Leeds saw the player. She was driving up line, thought she was about to score, and I don't think it's a foul. You can maybe argue dangerous play at a stretch, but I think Leeds has to be looking where she's running as well. I think the responsibility is on her. I think Sesquidistus player was in the lane, but this is something that happens quite a lot in the sport, where someone from the handler space is driving up line, someone else hangs out in the lane. Whose responsibility is it to avoid contact in that situation?
Well, I've been taken out myself by a poach off on an upline cut. I think there is an opportunity to see that, and if anything, I think, to be honest, the defender probably could take a more aggressive line towards the disc and out of danger. If you really power through there, you can make that play more cleanly. You don't end up with quite so much of a sandwich because, of course, Alex Lernaud is following Leet through as well into that pocket. So a big old cluster of players.
I didn't like that pick call from Gail Aslan. I don't particularly like this call from Leith, to be honest with you. I understand where both of them are coming from, but maybe law of averages is going to work out here. But
yeah,
I think the Sesquidistus players poached lane has got to that space first, and it is the responsibility of the person running up line who usually is looking over their shoulder at the disc. I think it's their responsibility to see where they're running as well.
Yeah,
I think it's a fair argument for the Sesquidistus player. Could have maybe, actually got that block and kind of jumped out of the way to avoid contact even more, and that's what you want to see. You want to avoid contact.
I think the main thing for me, I'm with you, it's looking over the shoulder because it's actually being cognizant of where the defender already is, whereas so many other situations you do get someone coming with heat well from far away. Leet could have seen that player, that defender there, but it will go back to the thrower, so one bad turn perhaps calls another. Or that's going to be just point and shoot. And that's an amazing catch on the back cone. Well, it is whistle clean in the end. Fantastic identification of Lepik just grinding towards that channel. And it is the first break in favour of Turbulence.
Grinding and grooving their way to the end zone. And they're dancing now. A massive moment in the game. Tartu get the first break. And that is from a pure honest D-line. I threw a bit of shade at them and they came out and matched the whole up the field. Two pretty contentious calls in that point, but it does stand as a goal for Tartu. They get the first break of the game.
Well, either way, beautiful cut from Lepik. And indeed, that is how you can build some confidence in your D-line. Clara Lee did play a very big role during the course of that point. But we see a cheeky Helen Terra crossing over to see if they can get two breaks on the trot to take half.
Yeah, well, it's easier for her to do it now. The O-line gets a rest, so it's much easier to cross over players when your D-line starts going on a run. And yeah, momentum certainly with Tartu Turbulence right now.
Clearly, whatever it was that Christian Lauritz said during that timeout had the desired effect. So Sesquidistus looking to try and hold on to this half, and that's a pack of Tartu Turbulence players that are going to deny Gaël Arslan.
Brilliant help defense, peeling off the back, saw that deep cut coming very early, and probably shouldn't have thrown a Sesquidistus. I think when you have that kind of cutting from the handler space going deep, you have to get past the stack first before you can send it, because someone's likely to peel off the back and help defense. And Gail looked like he was almost going to get it.
Well, he is that good, Liam.
But he's just having a defender in front of him put him off.
So Lee ripping a backhand. Oh, that is absolutely gorgeous seams. The man being backed up by his teammates. And that's an amazing left-handed grab. Well, that is quite a way to finish the first half. 3 on the trot for Tartu. Turbulence, 2 breaks finally going their way. And Laurie Loritz with the goal.
What a sensational run from Tartu. 2 breaks in a row. And we see the break rocket is out and launching into the skies here in Belgium. I think the big moment of that game was Clara Leet with the big backhand hook. A big old buttery biscuit. I've seen him play 3 times now. It's the first time I've seen him throw that. And on one attempt was absolute money. And yeah, I think that's something she can start doing more. That would be the only criticism I'll give her is like, hey, you've got that throw. We see it there. That is as buttery a biscuit as you're going to see.
And I think that was also a break side shot because this section of the game, Sesquidistus have been pretty much only forcing forehand apart from when they've gone for the FM approach. And that's just a really bit of grinding through to find the open channel. But I think you pocket that for a couple of points and then bring it out in those moments because the separation downfield was just too juicy to be denied. But Tartu Turbulence stirring things up here at the end of the first half. Can they find and continue this form for the second stage, or will Sesquidistus rise to the fore? Find out after this.
Yes, he will.
Second half about to get underway in our bronze medal match for the mixed division, and the break rocket is a-flying. Myself, Hannah Pendlebury, on the call alongside Liam Grant, who is congratulating Clara Leet's finesse on the sideline pretty directly.
Let's see more of it. I want more big backhand hooks from Clara Leet. Sign me up to the fan club.
I mean, I think her fan club has been in existence for quite a while. You're going to have to go for election if you want the presidency of that one, Liam. Well, Sesquidistus is going to have to find some defensive magic. They certainly have on our live stream earlier in the tournament.
Who put Jakob Kam on the D-line? He's clearly unable to pull. This is the first D point as he hangs his head in shame. That was not even close to being a bounce. I think it's coming in the halfway mark. And with his prescribed gender pulling rule, unfortunately a male player had to pull there. Would have much preferred to have a female matching puller, I think, Tartu. But
well, it looks like Arsenal is going to take it from the brick mark.
And they're crossing over Tara and Tam, who haven't played in the last 10 minutes or so with those 2 breaks from Tartu already.
I love that initial lane sag from Tam. Like that look over the shoulder before even going and attending to the mark.
And it's a forced middle from Tartu, I believe.
Oh, Tara very close to stealing the disc away on the inside channel from Antoine. And Tam now will call the switch off, trying to be intelligent with their poaching. But just grinding defense seems to have been very effective up until this point to get those opportunities in the first stage. Arsalan not able to get free and open. That's a great grab for Charnay. Petito now opening up the arm, and that one is going to be a miss. The bid was good, but it just slips out of the fingers of Maton.
Big break opportunity. Can they get their 3rd break in a row here, Tartu? And they have a strong line on the field. Loving the Tam Onslaught matchup, the two number 7s going head to head now.
Well, Tam has Terra in a little bit of space, and that's an amazing pickup. Liliorg. Now Tam has Terra racing away, but a travel call will bring that one back.
I think he's riding that one, looking at the replay. It was
so this back with Ingmar Noma. No man. Just squeezing it through to Tonichon. These upline cuts very close to the sideline makes it all that more difficult. Ooh, love that throw and go, but it looked a little spicy. No man. With big old feisty fakes, and again Tartu just grinding it up the line. Oh, but that's going to open up the space. What a throw, a slicing forehand. Willem Tonichon reels it in, and that is 4 unanswered points in a row for Tartu Turbulence.
the French being carved up like a Christmas turkey right now. That visionary crossfield blade. As we see the replay from earlier, I think this is the possession, and not a lot of people would put this, but Tartu opening them up here, and momentum entirely with them. I did not expect this big run of breaks, and the D-line really stepping up. Yes, they've been crossing players over, but a lot of players that we didn't see very much of in the semi-finals stepping up now in the bronze medal game. And thankfully Jakob Tam isn't on the field to have another terrible pull.
Well, you love to see this, though. We talk about the Estonians and how they only have these certain players, but actually this as a opportunity to develop more depth, the big game experience, a medal on the line, not a gold, but a bronze, which feels just as nice sometimes. And Tartu Turbulence flying high with that break rocket. So Barta staring down.
We see that pull play, just one cutter coming straight across, ends up completely unmarked.
Yeah, Tessier in open acreage. Now Michon coming across, normally playing on the D-line for Sesquidistus. So perhaps trying to be some extra legs, but it doesn't need it. It's just Bru grinding through away from Helen Terra and into the end zone, and Sesquidistus stopped the flow of breaks at long last.
And Gail Onslaught has his hands on his hips. They stop the bleeding, but have a mountain to climb now. You know, getting a run of breaks off against this sensational Tartu O-line is going to be very difficult to do. We saw Tifsa Tauscher do it yesterday, so not impossible. But looking like they're in cruise control right now, Tartu, particularly on offense, haven't been broken yet.
Well, there's still plenty of clock left to expire. 90-minute rounds here, so over half an hour for Sesquidistus to try and grind this back. But a 3-point deficit is certainly quite the interesting fall. Although talking about climbing hills, there is an interesting gathering of humans on the mound behind this pitch. Wonder if we'll get to have a look and see what that's all about a little bit later. But for now, Justine Bru readying for the pull with decent depth. And I see Tartu's O-line. Can they remain picture perfect for the second half? Maren Rabber pops it back to Lauritz. Jakob Tam having a difficult job of getting free underneath from Michon, so they're going to boost it instead. Up he goes, single hand. making it look all too easy. Rubber loses her footing in the wet, but Terra popping through, all fine, no issues. Just a little bit of a spill to distract.
Hugs all around for Tartu, and Tam is safe as a house in that deep space. If you put it out in front of him, put it floaty, he's going to come down with it. And Tara, as always, backing up her teammates, able to punch that one in with ease. And I just can't see Tartu losing this game at this stage. Their O-line is too good.
Well, even their D-line offense has now sorted out its problems. So there's only, of all the points that Tartu have scored, only one of them has had a turnover of their own. Every single one of these defensive breaks that they've actually managed to convert have been clean. Now that is some absolute form for a team that we were talking at the beginning of this game, Liam, about being gassed, being too tired, having a 3-for-3 record, grinding their way through the bracket all the way from 7th seed. Very, very impressive stuff from the Estonians.
Yeah, I think with the better weather, it suits the shorter roster team. You're just going to have a cleaner game, a quicker game, not like long, grindy points. As we see some kind of choir on the hillside. I'm not sure which team that is.
That's East Block.
It is East Block. I don't know what's happening, but I like it.
It's definitely got a good vibe, you know. We take the hill, we take the fort, and they will take that shot all day long to Petito, and that is an inhuman grab for the number 16. Look, he's having a great day at the office.
Kind of lassoing that one in with the cowboy catch. That trailing edge curler was thinking it was going to be a little too far and adjusts his body so well. Brilliant spin catch. Gets a applause from a player walking in the background. Applause all around. And need to use that momentum, you know, big catch, get pumped up. They're definitely still in this game. They've got a big mountain to climb though.
Indeed. Well, the Chuck fellow French compatriots have just arrived. They'll be playing their bronze medal match next up on field 24 in front of us. We get some good doggo cam. Justine Pruze-Pooch, who's been very well behaved on the sidelines.
I can tell you who can hold on to a lead, and that is Tartu Turbulence. Maybe they're putting a jersey on the dog. Is that what they're trying to do? Get out there. We need you on D-line. Maybe you can run after Jakob Tam.
Well, we all love good boys and girls, but we love Ultimate a little bit more here on our live stream as Lauritz is lawless indeed, finds Rubber just shy of the goal. Oh, flubble wobble, but what a redemption for Helen Terra, backing up Rubber.
How often has she done that, backing up the players? Every time the hook goes up, and she's not actually chasing this, she's expecting her teammate to catch it, and that's how you get easy goals. That's the cheat code for getting stats is, hey, run after the hook, expect them to get it. If they don't, you're kind of screwed, but it doesn't matter. There's no stats for that. Just back up your receiver. And then that's another money throw. Rabbit read it so well. And then Tara busts out this power slide. She had to do it. Had to adjust her body to get down low. Goes for the old rock and roll power slide.
I mean, not many people can make Tiffany's sheet look a little bit silly, but I agree with you. You do have to keep pushing those ones all the way through. And of course, Lachi was one of the world mixed beach champions, so serious pedigree defender. But it's that attack and that determination. You can see the moment actually on that replay where Lecce goes, oh no, I've done a bad thing. I've done a bad thing of not supporting this and just expecting that was either going to be good enough for a goal or that it wouldn't work out for Tartu Turbulence, who are just riding the highs here and setting their sights on the bronze medal. Trading out comfortably. Parentin has Petito putting on the jets, but it's Arcelin underneath instead. Petito, of course, having started his playing career back in the days in the early 2010s in the under-17s, but that is a foot block.
That was like a no-look, like, ankle thrower foot block. I don't know what just happened there. That was incredible. He almost foot blocked behind himself. You see, he's looking downfield when he does that as well. That's bizarre and exceptional.
Cool guys don't look at explosions, Liam. They foot block you, or they don't even need to look. Soft, high release forehand. Now Tam. Running and gunning. And again, those bladey forehands, the lack of breeze really allowing that indoor style that Estonians love coming to the fore. Oh, and Terror with the leader, but there's going to be too much gas on it, and Petitot will collect. Arsenal immediately providing the stretching cut deep. Bartin, a potential option, but they're just going to try and find a reset. Oh, that's a nice leader to Petitot for sure. Just leading side to side, and a little bit of long jump for Gaël Arslan will put the 8th point on the board for Sesquidistus, but this O-line is being challenged so frequently. Only 4 for 11 on perfect conversions, which is surprising for Sesquidistus because they have really had a great season.
Yeah, and they almost had the game over there. If they had the simple pass to Terra to get the break, Tartu, and give it back, and this is a beautiful leading pass to Onslan, who nearly takes out her gimbal camera, but some good footwork. Gets it in the end zone, and we saw them dancing and celebrating here. The French side. That's almost like an indoors move, the throw your feet out into the end zone, but almost feels like we're playing indoors. There's very little wind, if any, at the moment, and let's see what this Sesquidistus D-line can do.
Well, thus far in the game, not too much. Tartu are 7 for 8 on perfect O-line conversions, and of course recovered the one where they did falter. Just the one break opportunity in the game so far for Sesquidistus. And we haven't seen them cross over too many players on their D-line. They're staying with their usual format. Wonder when they're going to start putting Gaël out there.
Well, it's much more tricky to do after your O-line goes on a run. He's played a lot of points already, so difficult to do.
Ah, but he's only a youngster. Casual blade into the pocket for Terra as we see it. A little bit of zone action, trying to increase the pass tally. Not sure I like the idea of playing zone with no wind against a team that absolutely love a bladey forehand to space. Especially with that aggressive positioning on the lateral move for Tam. And again, he'll just get those extra couple yards because this is a very passive zone set for Sesquidistus. They're just trying to wind down the clock, which again, not sure I like that considering how far they are behind before Tartu can close this one out. Oh, Kofi looking very dangerous. Wouldn't be the first time we see him get an inside block on our live stream. It was pivotal in their quarter-final performance. Loritz, oh, that is just not fair. Clear air for the 34 and 12 for Tartu.
Just too easy for Tartu right now. They've got a skip in their step. They're enjoying their offense. You can see the French trying to throw something different, a very passive zone, as you said, and Tartu were delighted just to slowly swing it over back and forth. They don't look tired, but they've had a long weekend, and I think if you're going to like, hey, you guys can walk it up the field, I think they're delighted to do that. And then you see the transition there to match defense, looking for the switch from Coffee, but didn't hear the call, and an easy goal in the end.
It took 29 passes, Liam, but they looked very smooth indeed. It's just not windy enough to play a passive zone for my liking. Those breaks were not difficult because they weren't really even breaks. There were just a couple of slices through. And again, that sensible positioning for Jakob Tam. They weren't being too greedy of always trying to gain yards on the swings, but just Tam as someone who can deliver that last-minute adjustment if needed, if someone gets a little bit spicy. And Tartu's D-line coming back out again. 3 points away for a European Championship bronze medal are the Estonians. Parentin guns and runs and has escaped her defender, but picks one up in the form of Varblas at the back. This is really solid switching from Tartu. Now grinding underneath. Through, easy one to Chenet. Now Gavier. Doesn't look too much of the reset, just has eyes for Gaël Lancelin, who will exploit the poach off, but Clarily underneath it, applying pressure, cannot deny Laurie Petitot.
Petitot with the clutch grab again. The French trying to find their groove here, and you saw Tartu coming out of the forced middle again, which has actually worked well for them in the second half, and often congests the cutters downfield into the middle and allows for some switches, but exploiting what's given to them here. Lancelin doesn't hesitate, unleashing the hammer. Petitot was being hotly pursued by Lees, but kept his cool, kept his focus. He had position, as we see East Block doing an Irish jig in the background there. Are they fairies or is that East Block?
Couldn't possibly tell you, Liam.
Yes,
We'll
the tree fairies dancing away. Reminds me of the film Darby O'Gill and Little People. They're doing a different dance right now. We get a shot of it.
Well, they're enjoying the vibes here. Chuck have brought their speaker to the sideline, which might be drifting onto our field mics. But either way, at the moment, I think the body language coming off of Sesquidistus is really interesting. They're just they're looking calm, but I think they need to find a little bit more fire as we finally see a crossover point for sure. We've got Gaël Lancelin and Laurie Petitot with the pole now coming out to try and steal a break back. But is it going to take too much out of their legs? Tartu just 3 points away from the win. Sesquidistus have to do double that tally in order to advance through and hit that podium to finish off their EUCF. Rabba. Jakob Tam, just a very subtle, gentle double palm, just chill out. Just, I think, exploiting the fact that it's a relatively smaller statured athlete at the front of the cup, and now we see the transition to match defense. Lancelin will pick up the matchup for Tam. Been enjoying that one. Now Lauritz in just open field. Now obtains some marks. Terra around to Lauritz. Rabbit is there, and now Jakob Tam is denied by Gaël Lancelin. Because of course, as I said, we've seen the 7-on-7 matchup for the male matching players a couple times at this point, but only when we've had Jakob Tam coming across to play on the D-line. But this is solid containment, this power line for Sesquidistus doing a very good job, but the patience for Tartu right now, they really do not need to rush a single throw. And they can rely upon each other to get open when they need to. Now Jakob Tam, having switched off and has the defender of Petitot, but that's a drop! And a huge opportunity here for Sesquidistus.
Is this their second break opportunity of the game, or?
Yes. Well, it's smooth moves so far. Sesquidistus not being too greedy. Their last defensive break opportunity, they used the smaller throws to just grind their way upfield. Tessier puts it to Petitot. And then throws and goes. Petitot with such dynamic breaks around, even against the larger force of Jakob Tam.
This is a power line for Sesquidistus. We see Lancelin on the field as well now.
Arsenal around. Petitot. Oh, there's a free receiver. And that will indeed be a break for Sesquidistus. It may be a little late in the game, but it has happened at long last. Kala Ele with the goal.
And that a big break for the French back in this game now. And that was a crossover power line. You wonder if they can do that again here. And just having their best 7 players out there close to it put a lot more pressure on Tartu, and they get the conversion.
But you can see the body language after that point for Loki Petitot. Hands on hips. He has had a heck of a workload during the course of this bronze medal match. And Tartu Turbulence just 3 points away still. But it's entirely possible that Sesquidistus can continue to run through and finish this one off. But whereas the previous zone possession took 29 passes but just looked really easy, really chilled out, that was 28 passes completed before the turnover. And just a lack of focus.
And keeping the pressure on now as Petitot and Onslaught staying on, changing a few personnel. But I think that's what they got to do, apply the pressure. Tartu, just need to keep the cool and focused. We saw Tam with his hands on his knees after that point. If they start getting tired, use their timeouts. That's what they have to do. If they get broken again, they got to think, hey, let's give ourselves a rest. And it's managing their energy levels is going to be big for them in the latter stages of this game.
Well, just under 20 minutes of the game remains as Tartu stand in their own end zone but find their way through. And we have Clara Leak coming on, so maybe a power line of Estonia's own. Yeah, foul call, not surprising to see. There was a lot of contact underneath that disc.
I'm not sure if Coffey's debating this because he shouldn't. He just laid out at the back of him and just continue to try and wrestle him to the ground.
Well, no, I think halfway through that, after he makes the initial contact, he does try and avoid it by sort of wobbling backwards. But yeah, he's accepting it pretty much immediately, and I think that is
not immediately enough for me. If you ask me, I hope that was not a debate but an apology, because that was just a straight up foul.
Yeah, he even knew as he was coming back down to earth. You know, he's trying to put his arms out and lean backwards as he just absolutely smothers Robin Lilleorg.
And Tara was backing it up. I'd throw it to her now.
Well, you have to say maybe that long stoppage actually works out in Tartu's favour, because they get the disc and they also get that little bit of time to rest their legs. They have Jakob Tam just patiently waiting at the back of the end zone. Big bladey one to Rabat. He's got an injury call though, because the furious defence of Anaïs Mabourget, I think, just caught her toe a little bit wrong as she came in to try and apply the mark. Yeah, you can see that she's just trying to avoid contact and just undoes herself. But fireman hero style, Maëlle Barentin is going to pull Mabourget off of the pitch. Hopefully she'll be okay. She does look like she's in a lot of pain, but hopefully just a little bit of a nerve rather than anything too serious. So fresh legs for Sesquidistus, but Tartu Turbulence will stay with the same 7. Oh, and that's a beautiful section of play. And a hand slap afterwards for these opponents. So Tartu 2 goals away from the win.
And Helen Tara is there again to apply the finish. Again, you saw her on that hook, backing up a receiver. I thought they were going to throw it her straight away. Have to work it around outside the end zone for several passes. But again, using those inside break throws to create momentum on the break side. And Tara caps it off. And I don't know if Sesquidistus can have it in him to get 2 big breaks. You can start by doing power lines, but they can't really do that for the rest of the game. They need to put out their O-line players here now. And it's maybe you put out essentially a weaker O-line at this point to try and save your best players, get the break, and maybe trust some of your less experienced O-line players to try and do a job. It's managing your squad now and your lines is big decisions for them. Onslaugh's going to stay out there though.
Well, we've certainly seen earlier on in the season the elite invite, the last Sesquidistus game of that championship, I think was on our live stream, and there was certainly some triple, quad, quintuple duty for Petitot and Arslan, and that is a fantastic grab. Well, if you can score in 2 passes like that and get huge grabs out of Petitot, the big man with the grab.
Yeah, it's great for Sesqui because they had to put their O-line out there, but they basically didn't run at all. It took them 10 seconds to score, so
well,
can't imagine Petitot would be too quiet. He had to run deep once there, but relatively easy offensive point, just isolating 2 players downfield, 2 quick throws, and that's exactly how they threw it up. That was a side stack play, and yeah, I love it from them. Let's try and score quick, get some big cuts downfield, essentially 2 big cuts, and that point is over.
Not the most stable throw. That was definitely something that required that extra bit of energy and effort from Petitot. I like actually also the defence being played by Laura Lepic. Doesn't have a reaction early enough to really put any pressure on Petitot, but doing the right things fundamentally. And Tartu now bringing their stars out for offence there. Unlikely to cross over anyone, I think, for D to try and sneak away with the game with an extra break. They just need to punch in 2 more with their best 7. Jakob Tam has rubber in plenty of acreage on the underneath. Now Clara Lee. She'll be staying out on offense surely. Oh, a spicy high release. Nice single-handed grab to put hearts in throats for some of the Estonian fans watching back at home. Tam. Loritz about to turn on the Jets. Lee underneath, but almost causes confusion. Rubber! Hands like glue, and that
stall out
will
has
work.
been called for Gail Onslaught and Tam.
That didn't feel like a full 10 in my mind. It's certainly a very high stall situation, but it's not
an accepted stall out.
Accepted? Wow.
I could hear him say 10 before he threw it. I think the argument would have to be that it was a fast count, but I think he certainly said the word 10 before that scooper was released. So I think Tam is happy with the count, and a lifeline here for Sesqui.
Well, someone isn't quite with their matchup. And some help defense being played. Justine Brou. And that's a high stall that just about makes it to Michon. So Tartu playing some stifling defense of their own. Inside shot from Gaël Arslan. Vision in the back corner. And Sesquidistus are putting themselves back in this game. 13-12.
The French not going down without a fight. Getting the breaks late in this game. And it's now just a 1-point game. And again, having to force a lot of the same players back out onto the field. Tartu carrying their knocks and bruises into this final game for them. Can they hold on? Do they have enough juice in the tank?
It's almost like that we're coming in a little bit too confident in that point, holding on the disc for that extra half a heartbeat. If that scuba had come out
he had a lead 1 yard in front of him free. I think he was just at eyes for the end zones there, Tam. I think that's maybe just a tired look. And didn't even get off before 10. I'm not sure. It was maybe a little fast count consistently from Onslaught. I don't think he sped up towards the end, but It was maybe a fast 10, but he certainly did say there were 10, and Tam was happy with it. It was an accepted stall. I think you have to say it pretty early, the fast count, if it's consistently the whole way through.
Yeah, I think someone did a statistical analysis, and most players' estimation of 10 is usually about 7 or 8 overall versus the actual clock. But, of course, when your blood is pumping, the adrenaline coursing through, it's certainly a case of understandable as to why these things do happen. Right, so Tartu looking to keep the dream of a bronze medal alive. Clara Elite again finding open acreage. Of course, they've had her running on the D-line quite frequently, so maybe that's why they don't necessarily always see her.
Yeah, she's open majority of the time and was running a good go there, and got to take the easy options. Every time they look off an open person, Tartu, it's hurting the team. And you see them, as the point goes on, they tend to slow down their cutting.
Well, they're going to open up a deep shot. Gaël Arslan trying to jostle for position. That is fantastic. Calm, cool, controlled cruising, though, for Robin Lilleorg. And Tartu have their first match point of 3.
You feel that was the moment for them to tie this one up, Seski. Arslan was there, and they were jostling for a position, but Tartu hold on. They've been great, particularly at positioning on their deep shots has been fantastic from every player on the team. I don't think we've seen them knock them down really with a... If it was a good deep shot gave the receiver a chance, they're coming down with it every time.
Well, Lilleorg has been having a better game in terms of his throws. That's 1 goal to add to his tally, which currently had 3 assists, 1 block, 2 turnovers, but he's been a big part of the handling set for Tartu Turbulence. So we're having Leet back on the D-line for Tartu, but this to keep the game alive. The best 7 offensive players that Sesquidistus can put out to keep pushing these through. So Arslan and Petitot, of course, on the field. Loritz with the pole. So a male matching point. This to see Tartu take it with the break, but Sesquidistus starting to put some yeast in the bread and rising to this challenge in the late stages. Nice moves underneath for Alix Lenold. Lovely leader for Barentin. Pinned to the near sideline though. Oh, honestly, that is just ninja style for Sesquidistus, throwing on the cloak of invisibility and appearing in the corner of the end zone. Alix Lenold. And that will keep Seski in the game. At least one more. And they're taking a timeout to rest their stars.
Completely blown coverage there by Tartu. It wasn't a lot of pressure at all. I think they've come to the conclusion that, hey, we're going to get at least 2 attempts to end this game on offense. So we're just going to do it that way. I think that was the decision made. Interesting to see what lines Seski put out there. Not sure what happened here, but that's just too easy for the French.
Well, Tartu have been playing a decent amount of help defense, so perhaps a bit of a blown switch or miscommunication. But I'm sure they won't let it have them falter. This, of course, Sesquidistus taking their timeout means that Tartu still have one in the back pocket if they need to refocus their offense.
I think they have enough energy. I think how this game is played out, they haven't had to run Tam and Tara as much as they probably expected to. So I think they have enough energy in their legs. Perhaps if this is a long point, they might call a timeout and put out the same 7 again if they get broken. But it's all in the hands of the Estonians now. And such a star-studded O-line. We see Tara, Leet back out there, Rabba, Tam, Loritz, they've just been sensational. We see the French here, Ancelon as expected. Brew in there for pulling duties at least.
Well, this could be it, folks. The French fans watching from back home as Tartu Turbulence throw a saucy blade. Leading now for Helen Terra. Again, that Jakob Tam Helen Terra connection, so quick, so rapid. They now centre it back. Lilior. Oh, he's going to go for it. Finishing us on a hammer. Jakob Tam brings it down, and the bronze back to Tartu. What a campaign for the Estonians. Absolutely fantastic game management. 15-13 over Sesquidistus.
Wham bam, thank you Tam. Big smiles on the faces of the Estonians. They look off 2 open side shots. You have to finish with an upside down throw. That is the rules in Estonia, I'm pretty sure. And Tam with Ancelon left in the dust. Nothing he could do about that one, and you can see what it means to this Estonian side. It's probably, I'm going to go out on a limb and say the biggest victory for Estonian Ultimate. I know Sexy Legs have had some good victories in the past, but you can see what it means to the players on the field. They fought hard, they fought well, and deserved bronze medalists.
Indeed. Well, of course, they've had success at the indoors championships in years gone past.
Doesn't count.
Does count. It counts, especially with how much indoors they play. But that is an absolutely fantastic result on grass. A real dream start for them. Of course, they put in the work at the end of the first half. They got their first break of score with their true D-line, without their stars, and then were able to bring them and fold them in as the game developed. But hats off to Sesquidistus. They gave us an excellent show as well. Some real hot spots. Laurie Petitceau with an amazing stat line, 4 goals and 4 assists. But look at this. Clean holds for Tartu Turbulence, 10, and the break chance difference.
Yeah, they have an exceptional O-line. You know, they have some of the best players in Europe on offense out there, and in still conditions like this, they're going to get a lot of clean holds, and that's what won them the game. I was really surprised by the Tartu Turbulence D-line. Without the studs on it, managed to get breaks early on, and that was enough to see them to victory. Seski will be disappointed. I think a lot of them expect them to come home with a medal, but a lot of those French players have a stack of medals at home already from the last 12 months, so they've had their time in the sun, but it's all about the Estonians now, and Leet, a superstar this weekend, and just a really fun, exciting team to watch, playing great mixed ultimate.
Absolutely. In fact, I think that was a really just great demonstration of the power and strength of the mixed division. My favourite stat line for that one, though, passes per turnover for Tartu Turbulence O-line, 56.8. That is a huge number of uninterrupted flow moments for this Estonian team, who will take the bronze medal back to Tartu. And that will close us off for our mixed division bronze. Of course, the final yet to come today, and another bronze medal here on our pitch in front of us. So if you are a fan watching this one live of French Ultimate, you'll be wanting to see the result between Czech and their components in the next round. But for myself, Hannah Pendlebury, for Liam Grant, it has been a pleasure to bring you this mixed bronze medal matchup. Tartu Turbulence rising high and taking that medal back.